As a part of our conceptual class, we understood about the variables. Let us see all of that in action. First scenario, what we are saying is we can have a variable name which contains alphabet, digits, and underscores. Let us try this first. And I will open my Atom text editor. Demo underscore xyz is equal to, it's a string variable. Say print demo xyz. And let me go ahead and see if it works fine or not. We are assigning a variable. See here, this is absolutely fine. We defined a variable name demo underscore xyz. We assigned a string value into that and we printed that. It is working absolutely fine now. So what it means is the way we have defined the variable is fine. We have started with the alphabet and we have used the underscore also. Let us go to the next scenario. Variable name can contain alphabets, digits, and underscores. There should not be any spaces. Let us try modifying this and see if it works fine or not. What I will do is I will add a space here. I will try to execute this. See, it is complaining. So you can see it is a syntax error, invalid syntax, because we introduced a space here. We cannot have a variable name with space. Variable name can only start with an alphabet underscore. It cannot start with a digit. Let us try to modify this and see if we can have a digit also as a part of the variable. It will throw a similar error. I'll say 5. Again, it is complaining because we introduce a digit. The variable name should always start with an alphabet or underscore. We'll try by having a underscore instead of digit. It should work then. It is working fine now because any variable name can start with underscore. It can start with an alphabet, but it cannot start with a number. We have tried all the variations of variable now. One more important thing is we cannot use the symbols also as a part of the variable. Let us try introducing a symbol here. The same thing, I'll go ahead and say add, modify here also. It is complaining. We cannot use all these symbols as a part of the variable. Wonderful. Let us move on and look at the other aspects. Here you can see when we create a variable, we need not really declare them. So if you just assign a value, it automatically takes it as a variable. Let us go ahead and try this. So x is equal to 5. Y is equal to John and print x and print y. I'm giving this end of line because if I don't give that, I need to execute the last line. That is the reason as a part of the Python command line. Can see we have assigned a value to a variable. We are printing them. It works perfectly fine. You need not declare them in isolation. And one more important thing is we can always change the value for the same variable. In this case, you can see we have assigned a 4 to the x and we are assigning a Sally to X. So in this case, the recent value will be printed. Let us go ahead and check this. I will reuse the same thing. X is equal to 5. Then now let me take out this. I am assigning a 5 in the first instance. In the second instance, I am assigning a John. When I print X, the recent value will be printed. You can see recent value is printed. John is printed here. And also, variable names are case sensitive. This is the lowercase, this is the uppercase. I am printing both of them. You can see both of them gets printed. And we can assign many values to multiple variables at the same time. Let us do that now. You can see here, I'm assigning all the values at the same time to these three variables instead of typing them in different line. Let us see how it works. You can see all of them gets assigned. And one more way of looking at is we can assign only one value to all the variables. We can do that as well. You can see same value is assigned to all these three variables. Orange is one variable, orange is one variable, orange is one variable. When you want to assign a string, either you are having a string as a part of the double quote or single quote, both of them will be treated as a string. You can see whether you are providing a single quote or double quote, both of them will be treated as strings. Now we'll look at the casting aspect. If you want to ensure a particular variable should be enforced to have a particular data type, then you can use these constructor functions. Let us see examples around that. Even though it is an integer, this will be treated as a number. If I assign 3 to this, and we can check the type of each of them, type of X, type Y. You'll see the difference. Here I'm using a string construction method. You can see in case of X, since we are enforcing this particular number to be string, it is saved as a string class. But in case of 3, we are leaving this to be inferred by a Python. It is taking it as a int. We'll see a couple of more examples. We'll see a float. You can see since we are using a float constructor method here or function, this 3 is converted into class float. And also you can see instead of printing only 3, it is printing 3.0. That means it is a float. But in case of Y, it is printing also as a 3 and also it is taken as a int class. Okay, we'll see a couple of more examples. Now what we'll do is say 3.8 and make it as a int. Opposite, just opposite. Okay. In this case, we'll say 3.4. You can see, even though this is a 3.8, it is a float, it is printing it as a 3. And the class is also int. The data type of this x is also int. On the other hand, if you say y is equal to 3.0, it is taking it as a float, because since we are specifying it as a 3.0, it is inferring that as a float. All in all, the idea is, while assigning the values to the variables in Python, Python will infer the values depending upon the whether it is a int, float, or string. Case if you want to enforce that a particular value should be of particular data type, then you can use the constructor functions like str, float, and also int. Wonderful. Then we understood how to define the variables, what are the different rules while defining the variables by taking examples. We also understood how do we use the constructor methods for casting the variable for a data type which you want. Thank you.